Go Pizza presents SCP.
Check this.
The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wild.
I can't wait to go to my wedding and tell my brand new in-laws that they are not really family, that they're less than family. I can't wait for that moment.
Jesse is shocking.
Shocking. He's a.
I couldn't believe
that was a great conversation, and I got to tell you, being in my super, Tylenol daytime, Buckley's high state.
I don't know if you're supposed to mix those things.
Man, I would have done anything to feel better after this. I was laughing. I was very much laughing because I know what Jesse, because I feel like I've sat across from Jesse for years, and I get this. He gets this look in his eye like he's going in, and Jesse's going in. He's tagging in, and it's rare. But when he goes in, he's like, "You're not going to stop him," and it's great. I love it.
I'm just glad, Jesse, personally, that we got Diddy's approval.
What?
It was so good that we got the approval of Diddy.
I know. When I was recording the episode, I was thinking, wow, I really hope Adam Wild likes this, because without his approval, I'm nothing.
Wow. All I'm doing is paying a compliment, and the two of you are being like this.
With every thought and action last episode, I was like, but what would Adam do? What would professional broadcaster man Adam do? Surely, I couldn't do this myself.
Now, is this a joke from the end of the episode? Because I was told not to listen to the end of the episode.
Steve.
Because I didn't get that far.
Are you a parking ticket?
Am I a parking ticket?
Yeah.
No.
I think you are, because Adam just validated you.
Oh! Wow.
My whole existence.
Listen, I don't know how this became about me. All I want to do is tell my in-laws that they are not really my family.
I got my haircut today. What do you think? You approve?
I do like it.
Yeah. Well, what about my outfit?
What's the deal with this? Where did you guys get
We're
from?
all just saying you validated us, and now we feel good about ourselves.
Okay. All right.
Because that's what we needed.
And we should. We're also just being jerks. Hi, Adam.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Wow,
Hope
it's
you're feeling
good to be back. Good Lord.
So wait, you didn't listen to the end of the episode?
No, I was told not to listen to the last 30 minutes by several listeners.
Good.
we were
Yes,
we were
good.
complaining.
Oh, there it
about-
is. Okay, never mind.
Tell
We're
me.
going
We were complaining about how we didn't know where to go on Saturday.
Oh, well.
And then we found out where to go. So it's all good.
or what's happening.
Well, I mean, like, come on, it's me.
No, it's okay. Yeah, you're right.
Like,
I mean, luckily we got an email from you last night.
yes. Well, here's the thing, guys.
What's
If
the
you
thing?
are expecting me to be a great planner, then you are expecting too much, and I will let you down every time.
Fair enough. Hey,
Right?
Where's that schedule?
Schedule?
Yeah, like something to give something for the MCs to work with.
Oh, do you need that?
I mean, ideally.
Oh, okay. I could send you that
That
tonight.
is typical.
Oh, again.
That is
See?
typical Rook.
You will be let down,
Oh,
sir.
all right.
You will be let down. I can give you that for sure tonight.
I mean, ideally.
Okay, so yeah, Steve is emceeing the wedding, and I just haven't told him how the events are going to go yet, but that's okay. Whatever.
Me and Jen, the co-MC, have
Yeah.
been thinking of dastardly deeds to do to you,
Oh, that's cool.
and you'll enjoy them.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why do I have to be at your house for 9:30?
Well, like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Most people, I figure, we're going to show up late, but I want everybody there for 11 when the photographer shows up. And I figured it'd be good to get everybody in the room hanging out, having a beer or a mimosa. And, I got food plates. I got food coming. And I just,
When's that arrive?
oh, that's good. Don't worry. That'll arrive with me at 8 a.m. So don't worry. It's.
Do you have any gluten-free, vegan-friendly food coming?
I mean, it's from my mom's favorite place, so my mom actually made the order, not me.
Jesse,
Okay.
what do you think? 10:57? 10:58.
Yeah.
You know what?
yeah,
10.
yeah.
Listen,
It's
whatever.
not-
We're going to
not
play NHL
9:30
threes,
on a
and you
Saturday
guys
morning.
can not play NHL threes with us. That's fine. That's fine. But all I'm saying is I want you there so we can take some pictures.
Hey.
Because the photographer shows up at 11.
Do you have a PSN login
I do.
and an internet connection?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so I'll see you on my couch and you be on your couch, and we'll just play threes.
I just want
That'd be
everybody to
great.
know. I want you to be careful who you invite into your wedding party. Just make sure that that they deserve it.
You know what'd be even better is if I passed Adam's place and went to yours and played NHL from there.
That'd be cool.
Let's do it. All right. Saturday.
We high five
Saturdays are for the plebs. Saturdays are for the children.
Saturdays are for
We
the plebs.
high-fived twice last episode.
Did we?
We did.
What was the second one?
The
The first one was Division.
Yeah,
think.
and then we high-fived at the end of it because I think we had a good episode and we high-fived on it.
Just feels good. It's great high-fiving you because I couldn't possibly miss your hand.
It's true.
It's just like it creates wind.
You know what we can't do?
What?
The two of us can't high-five when Adam's here because we'll be leaving someone out. So I'm just
like that ever stopped the two of you.
Adam's return has eliminated our
Why
awesome
did I show
high
up
five.
today? I just got over the fucking flu, and you guys are just gonna be like this.
Yeah. So Jesse, what's with you?
Listen, I get that you guys have a love affair, but like, come on. We got to talk about a game last night in Toronto.
We do.
A game where Nathan McKinnon, the league's most prolific player right now, was shut down, but his team was not.
And banged up.
Banged up a little bit.
And that, at the time we're recording this, that Habs game is just starting. Habs and Avalanche. Samuel Girard
The
Avalanche. Samuel Girard supposedly has like 400 family members there at the game because his first game at the Bell Center, right? But I would like to know how Nathan McKinnon looks tonight. And based on the end of the game, I'm a little surprised he's even playing. I don't remember who it was who rocked him, but he got rocked.
Well, it was what did they think it was? A tight lower back or something like that, which can just affect everything you do. And
Yes.
it's like it's one little thing, like you're reaching for the remote and you throw your back out, which I have done, and it is the worst.
You ever coughed the wrong way or sneezed?
That was the first time I ever threw out my back. When I was 13, I threw out my back with a sneeze.
It's the worst.
13
That's terrible.
years old. Stupid. But
You are a
he's
young
22
old man.
and bounces back. No, you know what it was?
You're old man.
Oh, we won't get it all into the specific. You know why I hurt my back?
Because I got this hip problem.
Well, you see, because, you know.
Okay, so you know what? Sometimes I felt like I watched last night's game and I thought, okay, sometimes you lose a good game.
What was it that I called it last year? Like a fair loss, like a noble
That
loss.
felt like a fair loss.
You know what would have made it feel a lot more noble?
If Andreas Borgman hadn't coughed up the puck a couple times.
Well, there was that. Yeah, I couldn't decide what I was more mad about. Was I more mad about that, or was I more mad about the Austin Matthews goal not counting? Because when Matthews scored a second time, and they actually counted that one, the Leafs were winning the game. The first team in 10 games to get a lead on the Avalanche. And then Borgman made his second big mistake of the game.
Now,
I think that's what I'm more upset about.
I felt bad about the second big error because I felt like that can happen to anybody. And has.
But it happened to him after the first thing happened. And it's been a bad stretch of like 5 or 6 games for Borgman. He's looked like crap in his own end. And it's like we talked about with Kadri. Borgman's making me look stupid. Andreas, I was cheering for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? And he's been messing up. Made me feel like Tyra Banks.
Now, I'm going to read you something from the NHL rulebook regarding the goal that was tweeted at us several times today from angry Leafs fans.
I hope I didn't set off that peak thing that you fixed last episode.
This one is specifically from Michael, but several people tweeted this to me, and I guess it was on Reddit.
I saw that.
In a rebound situation, or where a goalkeeper and offensive player or players are simultaneously attempting to play a loose puck, whether inside or outside the crease, incidental contact with the goalkeeper will be permitted, and any goal that is scored as a result thereof will be allowed.
So, based on that, it sounds like they...
Can you read that one more time?
Yeah.
In a rebound situation, or where a goalkeeper and offensive player or players are simultaneously attempting to play a loose puck, i.e. Austin Matthews trying to play a loose puck around Jonathan Bernier, whether inside or outside the crease, incidental contact with the goalkeeper will be permitted, and any goal that is scored as a result thereof will be allowed.
Why wasn't that a goal? How's that not a goal?
Because my thought when I saw that happen was, I don't hate the call. I hate the rule.
No, I hate both. I hate both. Use your head.
Because they're calling the rule.
Use your head. He had no idea where the puck was.
They're calling the rule based on the interpretation that we've been led to believe all year, except
Yeah, you
if
can't
that
make
is in the
contact
rule
in the
book,
crease,
if those
but-
words are in the rule book and that Reddit person didn't make that up, then they've been calling it wrong all year. They've been
Bernier-
calling it wrong all year.
Martin Biron nailed it. Like, Bernier didn't really complain about it at the time. And also, he had no idea where the puck was. He had no idea where the puck was. You're reviewing for what? Is it, we're reviewing to see if Austin Matthews touched the goalie? That's not what they announced. We're reviewing goalie interference. Was he interfered with?
Oh, his stick was around Austin's ankle. So
You know how it would have been interference is if the puck was in front of him, because that's where he was looking. Puck was behind him. He didn't know Austin did. Austin scored. That should count. What happened? Jesse, why am I wrong? I see it in your eyes. Just say it. Just say it. Why am I wrong? Why?
I just
You just
think it's funny how.
An Avalanche jersey at home.
Joe Sakic was a saint, and you're disrespecting his legacy. Can you read the rule one more time?
One more time.
One more time.
In a rebound situation, or where a goalkeeper and offensive player or players are simultaneously attempting to play a loose puck, whether inside or outside the crease, incidental contact with the goalkeeper will be permitted, and any goal that is scored as a result thereof will be allowed.
Okay. So, I don't have the video in front of me, but it doesn't seem like it's a direct rebound. The situation where you break it down to the point where the puck's loose.
Mm-hmm.
Matthews is going for it.
Yeah.
And he's clearly touching the goaltender while he's going for a puck. Is that not what goaltender interference is?
He touches his blocker.
See, to me, goaltender interference needs to be, I push Steve out of the way and the puck win it.
Or impede Steve's path.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bernier's
Yeah.
path was
There
in
was
front of him.
The path to the puck was through Bernier, and that should be allowed,
He didn't know where it was.
right?
But the spirit of the rule, since it's been called since starting this season, has been if you're making contact with the goalie, we got to call it goalie interference because you're kind of in the way.
Right. And that, to me,
So-
changes the fundamental of the game.
Yeah, but it's been called like that all season, so I don't hate that they called it this way.
I'm with you.
I'm like, okay. That's
I'm not
goalie
surprised.
This year, this 16 or 17, 18 NHL, that's what goalie interference is. Okay, that's cool.
You know that
They got it right.
He's
I'm
right.
glad you
He's right.
specified
Jesse's right.
17, 18 because every time it's funny. A lot of Oilers fans really don't like me until I post something like that and they go, "That got called back." They're so scarred from that Anaheim series. They're so scarred because you look at the goal that counted in that one. The Kessler one was shocking, and this one got called back. I
think
at some
Jesse's
point,
right.
You gotta use your head.
Well, and
Use your head.
then I think what happens is at the GM meetings, because I can't imagine there hasn't been a team that's been burned by this. I'm sure all teams have been burned by this.
It's not a woe is the Leafs thing.
No, of course not. But I mean, I feel like this is one of those things that they have to change.
So you're leaving it more up to interpretation to the refs?
you either
or-
clarify, which you can do, or you change the way you call it. And you use this one, and there are certainly others out there as an example of what you can't do or how you can't call it. Sorry, I'm really struggling here. I don't know why I started coughing all of a sudden. I was fine my entire show. So I think that's sort of part of the problem is that it's the interpretation is wrong. And the interpretation messes with the fundamentals of hockey, which are sometimes goalie's going to get bumped, man. And unless it pushes it literally did not impede Bernier stopping that puck. That's when it's goaltender interference.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, and also, I remember when you would see a play like that where you go, well, I don't know, could go either way. And the call on the ice was a certain thing. You could be damn sure 99% of the time the call was going to remain that thing. Refs weren't going to reverse their call. And now I just have no idea. And I sit there and also 3 minutes. 3 minutes that review took at least.
Well, and from an entertainment perspective, and you got to look at it like that because that's what this is. It's terrible.
It's trash.
They
got to put a clock on it.
You talk about a huge moment And it led to a bigger moment with Austin, and it's too bad they didn't win to capitalize on that moment.
Know. Well, and the third goal was a little his fault too.
But boy, does that suck the energy out of every fucking building. And excuse my language, but I was sitting there going, God, you just killed the moment again.
You know what? No, it doesn't. It doesn't suck the. Here, do you want to pause?
I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. I don't think it sucks the energy out of the building. Sucking the energy out of the building would be like adding apathy or like making the fans not care. For me, it creates resentment for the sport.
Which is
Creates
potentially
resentment
worse.
for the sport, for the league. Because like it's I don't know. Again, I'm not like a hockey authority. I didn't #play the game and all that.
Thanks, Jesse.
Ricola. But like I've been to games again. Like I've told the story before. A buddy from Scotland visited, and I took him to his first ever game. And I taught him everything from scratch. The whole first period, I talked. Second period comes around, and he's reciting things back to me. He goes, "That was offside," and I go, "Oh
He
my
knows.
God, my baby took his first steps." But then something would happen, and he'd go, "What happened there?" And I go, "I don't know. Why'd he call that? I don't know. I don't know. There's too many plays where I just go, I don't understand this sport. And most hardcore fans don't understand this sport.
Yeah. And so, it's
Avalanche fans were tweeting me that it was bullshit.
It was. But again, I'm with Jesse. I think that the way that they've called it all year is that way.
Okay.
So I don't disagree with how they called. I disagree with the rule as it stands.
Yeah, I think it's too far to call it bullshit.
If
Like,
the
it's not-
majority of the fans hate the call, then the rule sucks.
Sure.
Right, but it's something
you
they're.
shouldn't. You
but that's
can't
not
let
the ref's
the inmates run the asylum. You can't just. Oh, the fans hate it.
I also hate when somebody other than the Leafs wins, and that happens every year, and they haven't changed that yet.
To edit a quote a friend of mine had about Toronto, hockey, it'll be a great sport when it's done.
Yeah, you said that before, and I agree. I mean, I think it's just. I think with this is going to be one of those things. They go into the GM meetings, they go in the summer meeting, whatever they do. And, they always go to the GM meetings and all the sports guys pull out their polo shirts. They got their golfing polo shirts on.
Ugh.
It's like, this guy's got this striped polo shirt. This guy's got this light blue polo shirt. Oh, I didn't see him in that color.
A lot of variety at those NHL GM meetings.
Just a bunch of polo shirts,
Really
man.
lauded
You
for
know
its
what?
diversity.
At the GM meetings this year, I want to do like
Where were you going
a
with
polo
this
shirts
before you
fashion
got
show.
distracted by your polo
Polo shirt
idea,
fashion. I just
Adam?
love it. I just love the polo shirts that come out. I want to do a polo shirt fashion show. Who's wearing a blazer over their polo shirt? Who's got a one of those like messenger bags over their polo shirt because it's casual?
All right, man. First order of business. Who's got the Mike Weir collection today? Do you like this? You like this?
All of our American friends are like, why would you buy a Mike Weir shirt? We have one golfer.
I don't know. I bought one 6 years ago, so that's the only kind of golf shirt I know.
That's amazing. So when they send you down, you'll be wearing that polo shirt.
Yeah.
To ask the question again, where were you going with
The
that?
where I was going with it is when the GM meetings come up, that's something you discuss.
Okay.
And you change it for next year. They have to. Competition committee. They have to.
Cool.
Another thing, and moving on from, listen,
Fart.
called back goals are going to happen. What's going to suck, though, is during Game 7 and overtime when they don't call it back, like they did with the Brett Hall goal in 1999, which should never have counted, by the way. Should never have counted.
Yep.
Dallas might have still won that series, but that Brett Hall goal should have never counted.
To Jesse's
Rules
point.
are different in the playoffs.
Well,
right?
No, like
But
to
that's-
your
No,
point,
in every
the
sport-
rule
in
in
every sport
1999,
ever. Yeah.
the rule was if you look at the crease, it's getting called back. His foot was in it.
Correction. The rule in the regular season was that. The rule in the playoffs is completely different.
What a trash league.
No, it's like that in every sport. Every sport changes for the playoffs.
Yep.
Well, then what the hell was this?
This is regular season.
Ugh.
This game.
Yeah, this
what,
is a playoff
46?
team, the Leafs, versus a non-playoff team,
you're
the
saying-
Avs.
You're
No,
saying,
the Avs are in the playoffs.
Are they now?
Yeah.
You're saying
Damn.
come playoff time that Matthews goals
I
counts?
don't know that. Depends on the
What
circum-
is your read
I
on
would
it?
say that would be called back.
It would be
in the playoffs.
It would
Yeah.
be. Can you imagine that happens? Oh my God!
Did the Leafs have any goals called back in the playoffs? I don't remember.
I don't know because they
Were
didn't
there
call
any?
any. They didn't.
They don't really call goals back in the playoffs.
Oh, they will be this year. The challenges
Yeah.
will be great.
But I think that one's called back any time of the year.
I don't know.
One
It was
thing
just
that
another play that made me go, ugh.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just exhausting.
What they need to
Keeping
have
up.
is beyond a competition committee is a rate of play committee. It kills me the amount of stoppage when I'm watching hockey. It kills me. It's driving me nuts.
Well, and it's funny that they're not more vigilant about that sort of thing, because they've really tried to cut back on whistles. They've tried to do things that speed up the icing process for sure. They got rid of the 2-line pass. Okay, this is next.
Oh, we sped it all up. Now we're gonna slow it all down again. It's
Didn't Don Cherry say they should bring back the red line? No, Don,
they should definitely
should
not. No.
Don, no. Stop.
Bring back the red line. Slow it down to clutch and grab.
How about no, they're done.
Beyond the goal, because I think there was more to the game.
Of course.
It was abundantly clear that Matt Martin and Freddie Gauthier could not keep up.
I had an epiphany last night, and it was good. It was healthy. It's good to acknowledge you're wrong, and it's good to figure out why you're wrong. Because everyone was dumping on Gauthier after a particularly bad play where the fourth line got hemmed in their own zone.
They were bad all night, though, man.
They were. And I was looking at the play going, all right, that was Freddie Gauthier's worst shift of the season. Arguably of his pro career. That was friggin' terrible. And everyone started jumping on him, and I'm like, wait a second. Like, Goat, since his call-up, has been fine. And everyone really civilly was just like, you are categorically wrong. You are so off on Gauthier. Stevie just doesn't have it. Here's this number. Here's that number. Here's that number. And I'm like, whoa, why is everyone jumping down my throat? And then I look at the numbers and I go, wow. Okay, I had no idea he was that bad.
What was the scoring chances against last night? When he was on the ice, I think it was 16-4.
Yes, I think you're right. And I think on the season, like his Corsi 4 percentage is like 37. It's terrible. And so I'm going, okay, why is my eye test so off? And with Martin too. Because I saw him do a couple things against the Avalanche, and I'm like,
I like that.
He's got some jump tonight.
Absolutely.
But with the fourth line, and particularly Martin, and sometimes Gauthier too, there's a lot of energy that goes nowhere. And my eyes are biased towards offense. If you do something that looks productive in the offensive zone and it looks like it's going to lead to a scoring chance, that's worth like 3 stick checks in the defensive zone to me. Like in my own subconscious mental scoring system, that's what I have. And so I saw Gauthier like have a couple decent offensive zone things last night, and Martin too. And I'm like, they're having a good game. And then when they get hemmed in their own zone, I just kind of ignore it. Which no, you can't do that. So for the rest of the game, I was putting hyper focus on that and then just going, ooh, this line sucks.
And it sucked so much that this morning, Gauthier went back to the Marlies, Kapanen came up, and Martin was scratched. That's like, at least they're looking now.
He's not scratched yet.
But
they're going to do this for one game.
You just ruined the whole show for me. Like,
What?
the whole podcast.
What?
I can't trust you anymore.
Yeah?
Your hockey opinion.
Oh,
I mean, you shouldn't have in the first place. That's what I would say.
For years, people have been listening to you talk about hockey. And it took a bunch of people on Twitter to get you to think straight. I'm so disappointed right now.
Sometimes I'll get tweets from people like, how don't you know that? You're supposed to be an expert. And I'm like, who told you that? Who told you that? It's you and me are the same. We're the same. We talk about hockey and yell and scream. The difference is maybe I'm louder. I don't know. Maybe I read more. I don't know. I don't even think I read as much as Adam. Adam's like, what did you say the other day? You're like, I read 14 articles a day.
I don't know if I said that.
It was a double digit. It was an alarming number. And I remember being like, I do not read that much.
Well, I read.
Well, you need to do it for your job.
Yeah.
It's different.
But I read hockey stuff. I read 3 or 4 websites every day, top to bottom.
I don't know.
I don't understand everything because Tyler Della writes stuff, and I'm like, okay, just scroll down to the conclusion. question mark, boom. Or like Andrew, sometimes I'm like, oh, this graph does not make sense to me, so I'm going to scroll down to the conclusion.
Dello had such a ruthless line last night. It was after the third Colorado goal. Matthews with the bad back check, and he goes, "Where was the point on that goal, Austin?"
Good line.
It crushed me because I was like, and I got nothing for that.
No, you
nothing.
you can't come back from that. So here, anyway,
what are the lines?
Hyman, Matthews, Nylander, Marlowe, Kadri, Marner.
Mark Edmore! Yeah!
That's crazy that happened after we named an episode after
They
them.
tried it in the third period, too.
Yeah. Insane.
JVR, Bozak, Brown, Komarov, Moore, Kapanen.
That is a functional fourth line. That allows you to roll four lines. It allows your fourth line to not suck. It allows you to rest guys if you need to.
Mm-hmm. Some tasty lines.
Komarov, Moore, Kapanen.
I like that.
Please.
Good possession.
Yep.
Except for Komarov.
Justin Bourne
some
noted
speed?
some speed, but also some bite.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, if Komarov is such a great leader and great defensive stalwart, like Babcock has touted him, now you're not burning him out. Let's pretend we're just totally not seeing it with Komarov, and he's even more important than Babcock says he is. Wouldn't it make sense to not play him 20 minutes a night for the final 35 games of the season heading into the playoffs?
Which I don't think they're going to do. I just don't think they're going to. But
No.
this lineup, the way it is, will not stay this way. Mike Babcock says it'll come back to the normal way after the All-Star break.
Yeah, but it's a 5-year plan that changes every day, as it was either Lou Lamoriello or Brendan Shanahan famously said. Remember the rotation of Borgman, Carrick, and Dermott? Who thinks Dermott's coming out of the lineup?
Oh, you can't. You can't take him out. He's a Leaf.
When Riley and
He's a Leaf now.
Zaitsev come back, do you think Dermott ever sits out again?
No. He can't. You can't intelligently sit him.
I don't think so. And Carrick's looked pretty good too.
He has.
Last
And
couple
what?
games.
He's looked good with Jake Gardner, and he's looked good with Dermott.
Oh, God.
That's a functional third pair.
I'm really falling. I'm falling for Dermott. I'm really falling for him. But Carrick, it's interesting. I wonder if he's just been played in the wrong role.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what his role was going into the season. And you know what? I'm going to ask that we take a pause here because I'm going to need a maintenance break. I don't know what the hell is happening to me.
Dude, you gotta
let me just clean myself up.
Go
and,
loogie.
Yeah, his batteries.
Yeah, hang on. Thank you for the maintenance break. I think I'm all
good?
cleaned up.
You're
Yeah,
all
man, I don't know
phlegmed
what
out?
the hell happened. I was fine, and then I wasn't fine, and anyway.
That happened to me a couple podcasts ago. I was like, no, go ahead, you're fine. Just keep talking. I'm fine.
You drank water the wrong way, though. That's all.
It just,
Yeah, that was like your own fault.
Yeah.
I've had this other thing lately, so I've gotten back into spicy food, and some spicy foods make me hiccup, and hiccuping makes you like kind of inhale irregularly, and then you're just literally spicy food is going into your windpipes, and then you're just dying and coughing, and yeah, but it tastes good. So.
I have this fear with hiccups. There's people apparently that have had hiccups the rest of their lives. Every time I
God.
get them, I get this fear like I'm never going to lose this, and I'm going to be stuck like this shit forever because I hate hiccups.
But then think of all the shows you can go on, all the daytime talk shows that you
They're
can
all
be featured
gone.
on.
Maury and Sally Jesse Raphael
Oh,
and Jenny Jones are all gone.
You would have such a successful YouTube channel. Like what? What a bit! What a great bit!
just listen to Smash Mouth and hiccup.
Your thing should be like having.
Hey, now you're right.
No. Oh, okay.
Here's B movie, except every time they pause, it's me hiccuping. 10 million views, everybody.
Honestly, I bet that would work.
10 million views.
You know what? That would probably do really well. I don't know why we haven't done that
The
yet.
Steve Dangle podcast, but every time Connor Carrick's brought up, the podcast speeds up.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
You asked about Connor Carrick's role. What was his role? And it was he miscast in the role that they're expecting? Because what we keep hearing is that he's not supposed to be, in Mike Babcock's view, an everyday defenseman. He's a guy that's his entire career, he will fight to be in the lineup.
His entire career?
He's the best supporting actor.
Come on,
not
Mike.
A best
Right.
actor.
No, that's like a third pairing guy as best supporting actor. Mike's making him into an extra. Like that's not good.
That's maybe that's the challenge he's put before Connor.
He needs to get even better.
But he's played really well, and he's getting up over 18 minutes a game.
Well, out of necessity. But I don't know. I just look at. So who's he been with? He's been with Dermott, you said?
Dermott recently, and then he played with Gardner as well because they played together all last year.
Yeah. So I look at Riley and his success with Hainsey. So you got Riley, who's an extreme talent, and you got Hainsey, who's a good delegator. And he's on the ice, and it's they've come out with really good footage recently, and the mic's picked up Hainsey barking out orders at Riley. Gardner hasn't had that. Like, in his defense, we keep making fun of all his dumb decisions, but, I mean,
He never had a dad.
He's never had
Defense
a dad.
dad.
I'm trying to think of all his defense dads. Phaneuf, who...
They did play together, right?
Yeah, and he was, kind of erratic. Cody Franzen, I remember, and decent enough defenseman back then, but great delegator. I don't know. Like, who was his vet? Who was the guy who taught him stuff?
Well, we haven't really had a great stalwart defenseman for a long time.
This has been the funny thing with hangarounds from the previous regime is they all got these ridiculous blemishes, and for a lot of them, it seems like it'll never go away properly. You hear what Babcock said about Komarov playing with Kadri and how he likes Komarov with Kadri because he checks him like 10 times a game to make sure, I don't know, he's paying attention and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is that a thing, Babcock?
Yeah, he said that today.
Yeah, and that bothered me.
Why?
I think it bothered a lot of people because they're like, it's just another excuse to keep Komarov on the Kadri line. For me, it bothered me like, okay, if that's true, Naz was drafted in 2009. This is his 7th NHL season. He shouldn't need that. And I bark at JVR for not having a total well-rounded game, and Bozak's kind of a weird player, and Gardner, for the love of God. Riley was a little too young for the previous regime. Like, they've really kind of turned him into a nice little reclamation project, but all the other hangarounds from the 2013 playoffs drive me nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair.
Gardner's one of those guys.
Well,
he hasn't had a delegator. So, like, I just feel like Carrick is his Hainsey, is what I'm saying.
Right.
See why that's weird? Gardner's got, what is it, 4 assists the last 2 games? And he's been playing with Hainsey. I'm not saying that Hainsey's the straw that stirs the drink, but, I mean,
Maybe he could just use somebody who's steady next to him.
How much do you guys worry about a 36-year-old being burned out by the end of the year?
I don't have much worry about Marleau, who's even older.
Hainsey.
But I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
But his role is also easier. I'd be more worried if it looked like he was slowing down.
It looks like he's warming up. It looks like he just seems to be getting better and more comfortable.
You can tell a lot, not just by play, but by like body language and enthusiasm. Like, I like what you said about warming up. His enthusiasm seems to be picking up.
Because he seems to be able to take...
But he still has 30 games to go.
Sure.
That's true.
Plus the playoffs.
Hopefully more.
You know what? I want to believe that he can do it. And I want to believe that he can do it because, on that line, Morgan Riley does a lot of the skating. He does.
Yeah.
The other thing is, Hainsey does do a lot of the penalty killing, of course. Like, they just leave him out there.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about Hainsey is that when you are penalty killing, if you are in a defensive diamond or square or whatever it is your team does, you're not doing a whole lot of skating. It's a lot of side to side.
I've always
side to
wondered
side, side
that
to side.
about
You're
the
not,
PK and the power play. Like, which is more tiring? Because sometimes it looks like the power play.
I mean, yeah. I think for sometimes it is. It's you're boxing guys out and that sort of thing, and I get that, and I know there's tremendous physical strain, but I feel like with Hainsey, he's an intelligent hockey player. There's an intellect there, and I feel like he knows how to manage himself. And they don't throw him out in situations like, thank God he's not playing like the power play or something like that, where you used to have 2 defensemen on the power play. And you used to have to worry about who of my 6 defensemen, I need 4 of them to play on the power play, and you guys that didn't belong there. So I feel like Hainsey's fine. I think he's going to be good. I think the role they're using in him is perfect, and I think that's what happens. When we bring it back to Carrick for a second, the role that he was cast in at the beginning of the season, I think Mike Babcock wants a big, strong, and he keeps using the word heavy, which is why he uses Roman Polak back there.
He likes his big players.
And I get that. Fine. But the problem with that is that Connor Carrick is nasty, but he's not heavy, and he's not big. So he'll never fit that role, and he'll never make you happy in that role. But lo and behold, you put him with Dermott, and you put him with Gardner, and play him the way that they have played him, and he's been great. So I wonder if this, and I hate to say this because you've got Morgan Rielly and Nikita Zaitsev down, but I wonder if this wasn't one of the best things that could have happened because it cast those players in a different light. It gave, like Dermott did something, and I think they even replayed it on the broadcast last night where he drove the puck into the zone, fought for it in the corner for a second, and then put his hand up and said, "I'm coming back."
Yep. I saw
and
he did that more than once.
Was it Nylander that came in afterwards?
I don't remember.
Anyway, it was that's a defenseman taking control of the play that he started, and I really like that. And I think that that's the kind of like if you're playing 11 minutes a night, the chances of you being able to do that, 11 minutes a night on the lowest thing, and you're playing with Roman Polak, what are the chances you're going to be able to make a play like that, right? And that's not Roman Polak's fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just here are the realities. But when you need Dermott to step up, he does, and he did it well. And I feel like with Dermott stepping up, with Carrick stepping up, why not those two? Why not? And James Myrtle actually has suggested this. Borgman seemed discombobulated the last few games. He seems a little off.
You need some time in the Marlies.
Send him to the Marlies. Let him play 20 minutes for 4 or 5 games, and bring him back up. You can do that.
I was confused today by the pairings at practice that Borgman was still in, because there's a reason Valiev was called up.
Oh, I think Valiev was called up for insurance. I don't think he was called up because he's going to play.
No, I think they're going to play him. I think they're going to play him, and I think they want to see what they have with him.
Really?
Yeah, Babcock. Whenever he talks about the players he's liked on the Marlies, like it's funny. They don't really. I feel like the Leafs don't think of Kapanen as a Marlie.
No, he's not.
He's a Leaf who just has to play elsewhere. You know what I mean? Whereas Valiev, whenever they talk about the Marlies, Babcock is always sure to mention him. And I had Heart of Lad from SB Nation. He was featured in the LFR today, and he was telling me about Valiev. And supposedly his pair with Justin Hall has been together all season long in the minors. Keefe really likes him. I've said multiple times in the show that Valiev plays on the right side. He has not this season. He's been on the left. Kills penalties. Been a reliable defender. He's kind of big. I don't know. That sounds like a Mike Babcock guy to me.
Might be. Now, something CJ mentioned this weekend, and I thought this was really, really interesting. He mentioned, and this is the first time anybody's ever talked about this, and I wanted to have him on the show tonight because I wanted him to address this. I was surprised that when it came up in the panel, they didn't extrapolate more on it. So CJ's going to join us next week, and we're going to talk about it.
There's not a lot of time on headlines.
No, there isn't, but I'm surprised they didn't go in on this
bangers.
one.
Every week it's bangers.
CJ said, you're talking about the Freddie Anderson stuff, and I loved all the commentary. I wanted to do a podcast on Friday, even though I was super sick, just because of the Freddie Anderson thing.
It made sense for you to not come in.
And what was hilarious about it, to me, the Freddie Anderson stuff, is that this guy stands up and tells the truth, and you got people going on TV saying, how dare he? How dare he? And no,
publicly.
Listen, I understand that, he publicly, so what? As if we all didn't see that, and as if we all haven't said that. You know what I loved about that? It means that their head's in the right place. That signals to me that they're saying all the stuff that we're thinking. And they're probably on a way different wavelength, like higher wavelength of hockey, right? They see hockey, they breathe it, every day they're at a different level of hockey. But we're seeing this stuff, and we're getting nothing from the team that says, yeah, we get it, and we got to work on that. We finally got somebody, a leader in that room, and I think Freddie established that he's a leader by saying that, saying this is not good enough. Players need to decide if they want to play for this team or not. And that I thought was really interesting. And what CJ had to say was the new guard is the word he used. The new guard was a little frustrated with the old guard. Some of the guys left over, as you talked about, from the last regime.
The second power play unit is almost exclusively the old guard. With the exception of Marner, it's Gardner. Rielly was on it the other day. You know what? It's Rielly. I messed up. But he could be part of the old guard.
He is.
Or the new guard. He's like...
No,
he was drafted by the old guard.
Current guard,
he was drafted by Brian Burke. He's old
Well,
guard.
anyway, JVR, Bozak, and Kadri are 3 of the 4 forwards. Again.
And what's interesting is
JVR's been a ghost as well.
They went right into... Chris doesn't bring that... He's like Elliot Friedman. He doesn't bring things up unless there's a reason. And what he said was,
well, that's national TV.
Right.
You should be
but even
intentful
it's
with your
the
words.
little details with him that you got to pay attention to, at least I find. And what he said was, if there's differing agendas, the history with Lou Lamoriello is he moves you out, which suggests to me that there might be differing agendas, or there might have been differing agendas.
And what does that mean?
To me, it means there's guys who are on expiring contracts that are not going to be here, that are maybe, I'm not saying that this is necessarily the case, but maybe the perception is that they are not playing their best. And I think the numbers and I think their play could back that up. I don't think that any of those three forwards on expiring contracts have had a great year this year. And I don't care what you tell me about JVR's goals. I'm looking at the rest of it. He is a better player than this, and I think we can fully admit that.
I was talking about that with Berkshire over text the other day. I was like, he's got one thing. And Berkshire goes, damn, is he good at that one thing?
He's very good at that one thing.
But it is literally one thing.
And Tyler Bozak has not been, like, what happened to Tyler Bozak last year?
I don't know.
What happened? What happened to Leo Komarov last year? The Leo Komarov that we saw last year.
Leo, I don't know. I get a little annoyed at people picking on him because I'm like, okay, he didn't forget how to play hockey.
No.
Like, he's got a 19-goal season. He's got a 14-goal season. You can't tell me they were both flukes. Like, this guy's on pace for, what, like 3 goals on a goalie this season? Like, I think he's got a couple empty netters.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. He's not this bad.
But that's
in the same way the Kadri's not this bad.
But
in the
Steve,
slump
that's
that he's been in.
exactly my point. Why? Why is this happening? And that
I think it's usage for him, but
okay.
Bozak, I have no idea. To answer your question with Bozak, I have no idea.
And that JVR Bozak Marner line to me has just not worked.
Well, what was weird to me with Bozak last season, and I just kind of went along with it because I mean, last season was a party, and I didn't want to
wreck the party.
I didn't want to wreck that party. It was a fantastic time, and that's been an increasing storyline. But everyone's like, "Oh, Babcock fixed Bozak," and I'm like, "Really? Is it that simple?" Like, we look at the best season.
Kadri.
Yeah, but we look at the best season of Bozak's career and we go, well, fixed. Done. This is what he's like forever now. It doesn't work that way when you hit 30. Mm-hmm. You know, it's very rare that you discover yourself when you hit 30. Johnny Bower. Like, there's a reason Johnny Bower, like, has this lore about him. Like, it's incredible that he did what he did. For the most part, once you hit 30, I mean, like, guys like Marleau, he's been great forever. And Hainsey has been steady forever. Bozak, he's very one-dimensional for a very long time. He has one particularly good season, and we went, fixed. I've said it multiple times in this show. You need to be 3 centers deep, at least. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Leafs are.
Not the way they're playing. And that's the interesting part. So,
at this point, they're 1.
I want to talk to CJ about that, about the old guard, the new guard, because it seems like, and Mike Babcock had alluded to this.
Marner might give Kadri a kick in the ass, though.
I'm sorry, I'm talking slower. I'm trying not to cough.
Or vice versa.
You know, it seems like he kept saying the guys are taking account for themselves now. They're taking ownership of this team. Well, who was taking ownership of this team?
Which players specifically?
And the players that were brought up were the ones that were on vacation together.
It's funny. This feels like an old conversation, but it's brand new with you, I think.
Did you have it last episode?
I think so. But Babcock, when talking about those comments from Freddie, seemed giddy. Like, he was so happy. And I think there is a very specific reason why the Leafs don't have a captain. And people keep talking about, like, they don't want to, they don't need one. They don't want to put the pressure on them. Oh, this market. No, it's because they don't deserve one. No one has emerged yet. But with this, I think people are starting to show themselves. I wonder if they let Patrick Marleau be captain for like 2 years. No, they won't do that. They won't do that. No. But one interesting thing about the Freddie comments, because they went public, could have gone really sideways. But what they did was create a hero. They created a hero for the Ottawa game. Do you think we would have heard about the Patrick Marleau speech at second intermission had the Freddie comments not happened?
No.
I don't think so. It would have just been like, we started playing good and we played good and we won. Hooray.
If the Leafs played Matthews, Marleau, Kadri down the middle, would you be happier?
Yes. I hope that's what they do for the playoffs.
God, that'd be beautiful.
I loved Marleau at center.
Dude, Matthews, Kadri, Marleau, Komarov.
I don't hate Komarov at center, man.
Bobby Cappuccino posted that on Twitter yesterday. And then you can have a fourth line of, well, who do they got now? Who do they?
The fourth line is Komarov, Moore, Kapanen.
Right, so you take Moore back out. Sorry, Dom. And you have Levo, Komarov, Kapanen.
Does Bozak move to wing? On the Kadri's line? Like, where are you playing Bozak?
Oh, good point. I guess you trade him. Well, in Bobby's thing. Sorry.
Quick.
All right.
In Bobby's thing, he
Okay.
didn't. He had Bozak there. So yeah, I didn't think that through. Hey, Bozak as a fourth line center? I mean, surely he can handle that.
Mm-hmm. So who comes in and who goes out if you run Marleau at center on your second
I haven't thought about it.
Well, I'm asking you to
I
think
guess I'll
about
think about it right now. All right. Hyman Matthews, Nylander has to stay together.
I like that line, yeah.
Although, Hyman, Marleau, Brown.
You know what I like? I like Marleau with Kapanen and Brown. And I like the idea that if Marleau is center, then you've got JVR, Kadri, and Marner. And that could be kind of scary, right?
Yeah, but all of a sudden your shutdown line is kaput.
Well, then change your shutdown line.
Or who needs a shutdown line? It's
Komarov.
2018.
Yes.
Or your fourth line is your shutdown. Komarov, Levo, and I don't know.
And by shutdown line, we mean play them 9 minutes and we'll be happy.
Yeah. And then shut it down.
And then shut it down for the night.
Like you got options. I understand they want to have defensive matchups. I get
Yeah.
it. But you know,
Marleau, what was it you said? Marleau, Kapanen, Brown? I think that's your shutdown line.
that's a shutdown line that could score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Well,
That- you know what-
That's,
and you know
that's
what
what the shutdown line was last year, and it went away.
You know what shuts people down? Being in the offensive zone.
Yeah.
That'll shut down. And the thing about what's interesting is Matthews is if you're in an away situation, which is why they're doing this, by the way, the new line combos. If you're in an away situation, you can't play the matchup, right? So Matthews is going to draw your toughest matchup, right, all the time. But if you got guys like, let's say Marleau, what is it, Marleau, Brown, Kapanen, I said? Yeah.
Yes.
That's your third line?
Mm-hmm.
That's your third line.
Or second. Or whatever.
But
Babcock doesn't number them.
But they're going to draw, okay, but fine.
Yeah.
They're going to draw second or third line guys.
Why don't the Leafs do this?
I mean, that's one player with 1,500 NHL points, another player who's had 20 goals last year, and Sammy Kapanen, Kasperi Kapanen, who could easily, I think, score 20 goals at the NHL level.
And then how do JVR, Kadri, and Marner play defense?
I think you shelter their starts.
They don't.
They don't. Or you could flip Marner and Marner and Brown if you want. I mean,
Here, I'll cut us off because we've been spending so much time on just lineup decisions. But I think so much of the Leafs' anxiety is we don't hear anything about this freaking team.
yeah.
And what the Freddie Anderson stuff was, in a way,
We finally heard
for the
something
fan
about
base, it was a breath of fresh air. And I wonder if part of the distrust of Babcock by a chunk of the fan base is that he's the only guy who talks. And all we want is answers. And he's the only guy who says anything.
And he won't give us anything.
And he won't give us anything.
That might be it.
And what he does give us, we don't like.
Okay, well, I got to tell you, I don't get the mistrust of Mike Babcock. I might disagree with some of the things that he's doing, but the mistrust or the people calling for him to be fired, give me a break. Give me a break.
If you're,
give your head a shake.
If your knee-jerk reaction is to fire the coach, you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Then
we shouldn't be listening to your opinion.
Yeah, in the past month, there have been a significant portion of fans calling for the firing of Mike Babcock and the firing of Joel Quenneville.
Yes, I know.
Are you all out of your minds?
It's amazing.
Neither of those coaches are getting fired.
Now, here's another one from the Are You Out of Your Mind? Brooksy. That's what I'm saying, Brooksy.
That's what I'm saying.
From the New York Post, Mr. Brooksy, who is a Rangers reporter. I just call him Mr. Brooksy. Larry Brooks is his real name. He wrote this. There was something distinctive about the Maple Leafs strutted their skill a year ago, daring opponents to catch and stop Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, and their gifted teammates if they could. The young swashbucklers took their talents to Game 7 of the first round, actually Game 6.
Wait, is that still up in the New York Post?
It is. Yep.
Swing and a miss, strike one.
Game 7 of the first round, not against the President's Trophy Caps. You wanted to see the Maple Leafs. More than that, you wanted to see every team around the league be the Maple Leafs because that was entertainment. Now, just as Dean Smith was the only coach who could ever stop Michael Jordan while together at UNC, Mike Babcock became the coach to put an end to the obviously perceived, what he obviously perceived as foolishness in Toronto and making certain to pound square pegs into round holes of the homogenous NHL. Basically saying he's asking the players to play games that they can't play. There's no arguing against Babcock's resume, blah, 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 blah. It would appear to make it conceivable that a party such as the Rangers might be able to pry Nylander away as part of a blockbuster that would send a defenseman as stout as Ryan McDonough the other way.
Larry.
So Mike
Brooksy.
Babcock is making them play a style they don't like. William Nylander's probably on the trade block. I don't know where that conclusion is.
Swing and a miss, strike two.
So, young, talented forward traded for defenseman.
Yes, he's actually wrapping his fingers.
Where have we seen this before?
This reminds me of Kiprios' suggestion of. This reminds me of Kiprios' suggestion of Marner for Hannafin. Except I think this one's even worse. That one, I'm like,
Or was it Marner for Nurse too? There was a Marner for Nurse thing.
Didn't. Did he suggest that? I don't remember.
He suggested it might work.
Right, but he didn't suggest it was a thing. He also didn't suggest Marner for Hannafin was a thing.
Yeah.
And I guess Brooksy isn't doing that either.
Well, I mean, he is doing something. And I find it very interesting that, like, Brooksy last year suggested that Tyler Bozak for Nick Holden would be a good deal.
Which, no.
No, it wouldn't. Because it would give the Rangers what they want and the Leafs a left-handed, mediocre defenseman.
I think the Leafs should trade Tyler Bozak. All right, here's Nick Holden. Okay, wait.
Yeah. So we have three strong centers, and we're going to trade Bozak for a left-shot, third-pairing defenseman. And I don't care what you say. The numbers suggest he's a third-pairing defenseman. Doesn't matter if he's used in that role or not.
Yeah, in the AHL.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I said it.
Anyway, I do find that... I found that one interesting. People asked us to talk about it. We talked about it. It's done.
There it is. There it is.
Some good news?
We don't got to talk every time there's names out there.
Yeah. You want to hear some good news?
I would love some.
So, according to J Sportsnet.
John Shannon.
Imagine that you are so associated with Sportsnet that you can just be first letter of first name
J Sportsnet. Not even
not JS
Shannon
Sportsnet.
J Sportsnet.
J Sportsnet.
Did you know that John Shannon invented Hockey Day in Canada?
Really?
What?
Yeah, he suggested it to the bosses here at Rogers, and it was his idea, and he fully flushed it out, and they're like, yeah, that's cool, let's do it. And they invented Hockey Day in Canada because John Shannon said they should do it.
That's why he's J Sportsnet.
Isn't that crazy?
When you come up with a deal like that, you can be S Sportsnet.
At Christmas party, Sportsnet Christmas party 2016, you gave me a kiss on the cheek.
Aw.
I haven't washed the cheek since.
He really is one of the nicest guys walking around. And apparently he's got crazy stories about Hockey Night in Canada. He used to be the executive producer for like 20 years. So now he's just doing this for fun.
He definitely does have fun with what he does.
Oh, yeah. So here's what he had to say. Hearing the Senators and NCC will make a positive announcement on Thursday concerning the overarching land agreement at LeBreton Flats, one small step in the right direction. So that's good. I'm sorry about the coughing. I know you have a thing against coughing.
It's okay.
Steve hates coughing.
I just can't wait till Steve is sick on Saturday. And
You're not going to be sick.
And can't MC your wedding.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Adam and Caprice's wedding.
I have to go home at 9:30 because I'm sick.
Did you hear that Tyler Bozak was traded for Nick Holden? I feel pretty silly right now.
So that's great news for Ottawa. Now, there is an article that Jesse, of course, sent.
Well, the Ottawa news is interesting because of the timing.
The timing. Timing's interesting.
When everybody's freaking out, all of a sudden there's positive news about an arena.
Yeah, sorry. What outlet was this?
Jay Shannon. Or Jay
No.
Sportsnet.
Ottawa Citizen,
Ottawa
this particular article.
there you go.
Because a lot of people were like,
It's from a guy named Dale Sheehan. Dale Sheehan.
Oh,
Dale Sheehan.
I was like,
Dolly.
actually?
Dolly. No. But Pitbull, you know.
Adam, no.
Adam's a top 40 radio DJ.
Dolly. Dolly Sheehan. So the article is titled this. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it all. Jesse, do you have the, you have it?
I can bring it up, yeah.
Can you bring it up? Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to read the whole thing, but we have to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to disagree with it, Ottawa fans.
Whoa. All right.
I mean, it's a pretty aggressive take on Ottawa fandom.
Pretty aggressive TAEK.
And it's I mean, there are some things that we will acknowledge afterwards, but Jesse, once you bring it up.
Sorry, the internet's being
Here,
slow.
I can just give it to you if you need it.
No, I have it.
You have it, okay.
I can't. It's not loading.
Okay. I think you're going to like this. I'm sorry, I'm stretching for time here. Jesse just unplugged his microphone. There we go. He's plugged it back in. He's back to us.
Sheehan.
Dolly.
Dale Sheehan.
You came to get it.
Sens Ottawa love affair is a two-way street. We need to have a direct discussion about the Senators. Frankly, Ottawa, you have a bad track record in your relationships with sports teams. Riders, Renegades, Lynx, Senators. You've even tried and failed and tried again. I know it's not something you want to hear, but relationships are a two-way street. You need to look in the mirror and give yourself an honest New Year's evaluation. Yes, Eugene Melnyk demonstrated poor timing by suggesting right before the NHL 100 Classic outdoor game last month that he might move the Senators.
Yes.
But if you listen objectively to what he said, that the Sens need fans to buy tickets, that they need support, that Melnyk needs to be certain a major investment is warranted in a downtown arena, and that all options have to be explored if things don't change. I think we'd all agree that if it were up to us paying the bills, we might say and think the same sorts of things. It is time to strip the emotion from the issue and look at our relationship openly. Ottawa, you left the Senators standing at the altar by not selling out games during the playoffs last year. You embarrassed yourselves nationally, and deep down, you know it. Fans are certainly allowed to complain, love, hate, and second-guess everything about their team. It is in the DNA of a sports fan. It shows passion, but that doesn't mean it is always the other's fault. Relationships are a two-way street. And with every relationship, a third in the sports bed doesn't help. Every fan in this city knew Melnyk was right when he promoted Parliament as what would have been the most unique outdoor game setting in history. He got TD Place instead. Yet, the federal government mistress not only broke our hearts, but used the idea anyways, constructing its own outdoor rink on the hill. And speaking of mistresses, the Canadiens, they're my team, but I'm also a Sens supporter. You shouldn't be a journalist writing about your supporting teams. Anyways, side note.
Yeah.
You're not a journalist, Steve. You're
fair.
a fan.
Also fair.
Currently ranked as Forbes' #2 franchise, worth more than $1 billion, are $20 million under the salary cap this year. They have cash and continually sell out. Teams just don't throw good money at bad teams. Melnyk really isn't any different. Indeed, every fan in every city believes their team should spend more finding that elusive player to take them to Lord Stanley. I'll fast forward a little. You could always end up being Quebec City with a brand new arena downtown, yet empty inside. Toronto supported years of losing teams. Winnipeg got lucky. If the Sens walk away, they will never come back. It's simply a reality. And we, the fans, are the ones who can control that. We are also the ones who could be sitting here saying, remember when. Last paragraph. This is 2018 therapy, Ottawa. Based on your relationship history, I sincerely hope with great hockey counseling, we can make this work. One weekend rendezvous on the road with a winning streak would rekindle the relationship. What do you think, Steve?
I had a thought. So during the playoffs, we ranted about the Sens not being able to sell out the arena.
Oh, I forgot the line. If everyone bought 2 of the least expensive tickets, this would all be a moot point, or even half of us. Sorry, I forgot that line there.
Interesting.
Like
this is a duty for the city. We have to do this. I mean, it does sound a little friendly, suspiciously friendly to the Ottawa Senators ownership. But we were ranting about the Sens not being able to sell out playoff games. Everyone was making fun of them, and we got some shit for it. Hey, what about the Phoenix pay system? What about this? What about that? What about that? What about that? And mostly with the Phoenix pay system, we were like, okay, valid.
That is the situation in Ottawa where any government worker isn't currently getting a paycheck?
Yeah, or they're super behind.
Oh, they're just behind on
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. There's a lot of folks in Ottawa who are not in a great financial position right now.
And it's a government town.
And it's a government town. It's your town's main industry
is running the country.
Not paying its employees on time. Yeah, that's a problem. And then I was watching the game Saturday, and I'm like, man, is everyone here an out-of-towner? Everyone? That building was packed with blue and white. That was a home game.
And when the Leafs won,
that was nuts.
The reaction when the Leafs won was huge.
It was packed, and the tickets were more expensive than usual. Did everyone make the weekend journey to Ottawa? How far did people come? Or is it just that people don't really care about the Sens that much?
That's interesting. Really? I don't know, man. I feel like here's what gets me. Ottawa fandom is weird, and I think hardcore Sedins fans probably understand this.
Yeah,
hate this, but probably understand this. So back me up on this if you tell me if I'm wrong here. One of the most ardent Ottawa Senators fans I know used to live there, and he said every time the Leafs came to town, I sold my tickets.
You made money.
I said, why would you do that? He's like, well, I could make money off dumb Leafs fans. Of course I'm going to sell my tickets. And I said, I got to tell you, the Senators come here and I got season tickets. You bet your ass I'm in that. I'm in the seat at that game supporting my team.
Of course.
There is not a chance in hell I would sell those. No. And
totally different situation though.
Well, I mean, is it though?
I think so because
I mean, obviously I don't have season tickets here and it's impossible to get them in Toronto.
But it's also a person who can afford season tickets. So it's not like he's strapped for cash.
They're not insanely expensive, relatively speaking. They're like here. They're like, what are they? $100,000? They're expensive.
Sure.
But
and you're like, and there's like, what do they say? 100-year waiting list for Toronto Leafs.
It's crazy.
Like it's just insane.
If you were to sell your Leafs tickets, though, like you're not earning money from Sens fans being like, oh, gotta get my hands on those. You're earning money from another Leaf fan who wants to go.
Right. But if all things being equal, then hypothetically speaking, even though that doesn't exist. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's absolutely. Let's say they're playing an outdoor game against the Sens at BMO Field and you can buy any ticket you want.
Yeah.
There is not a chance in hell I'm selling those tickets. And that's the reason is that's a rival. I need to be there. That's my job. And why do we do this show? Why do we do all these things? We're fans. We're hardcore fans. Hardcore. And I believe in supporting your team and not being obnoxious about it. You don't need to throw beers at people like the Philadelphia Eagles fans.
Oh
you don't
my
need
God!
Some of the
footage from the Eagles Vikings game.
Yeah, somebody
guys
tweeted me
are
something.
Shocking.
They're like Eagles fans are the only ones who could actually make you want Tom Brady to win, which is hilarious.
I know my goal. So I'm casting an NHL 18 event in March. So basically, I'm going to do play-by-play commentary for people playing video games. I did it once before with Faisal Kamisa. It was incredible. My goal is to get booed. I want to be authentically booed in Philadelphia. I feel like it's a
rite of passage.
It's like an achievement on Xbox. Like I just want to be booed. Oh, someone brings a snowball inside.
So you're going to Philly to do this?
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Wow,
World Gaming.
Nice.
That's what it's for.
Do you want to plug it on the show? Like,
yeah, you didn't even mention it. You just casually drop it going to Philly.
I saw it on Twitter, but if you're going to bring it up and promote it.
Well,
it's your show.
I just did.
No, give the details.
Yeah, man.
Well, okay, fine.
You can go to Steve Dangle on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Just do the thing.
I don't know what the link is. I've tweeted it before. I'll tweet it tomorrow. How's that? So look for that tomorrow after you've listened to the podcast because I don't know when this is going to go up.
I'm so unhappy right now.
Oh, okay.
Steve, tell us the details.
I was trying to.
Sometimes he produces things. This is really annoying me right now.
Details.
Which one of you am I listening to right now?
We're both saying the same thing.
I'm going to Philadelphia.
No. Okay. If I am a Steve Dangle podcast viewer or listener, how do I get involved?
Thank you.
Is my question.
The link, for fuck's sake, that I'm posting that I mentioned.
What does that give me?
I'm glad you asked, Adam. what it gives you is you can join the online playoffs.
What?
So it starts online.
cool.
It starts online. You gotta play your way through. Let's
This is
be
all
honest.
in NHL 18, which you haven't brought up. You just started saying
I said
you
NHL
can play
18.
online like 10 minutes ago when we were trying to get
10
you
minutes
when
ago.
we were trying to get you to
19
explain your dumb
interruptions ago,
your
Jesse.
dumb Philly trip.
You guys, well, first of all, you guys aren't invited, and
Well,
Oh.
I figured as much.
that's second and third of all as well.
You're acting like we wanted to
It
go.
is a GDMFing NHL 18 tournament. It starts online. You play. Let's be honest. Probably lose. Hopefully you don't. If you advance to the final, guess what? It's in Philadelphia. Guess what? I'll be there. And you get to play live, and I'll be doing play-by-play for you live.
What's the prize?
There is a prize pool of $17,500,
So
and it is in support of the Ed Snyder Youth Hockey Foundation.
Oh, cool. That's very cool.
Yeah,
so-
it is.
So EA Sports and NHL
fuck.
is hosting the Snyder Cup, sponsored by Xbox.
Oh, it's called the Snyder Cup.
If you want to be involved in the Snyder Cup, you just go to worldgaming.com.
Snyder Hockey Cup.
Snyder Hockey Cup.
It's right in front of you in big letters, dummy.
Just head up worldgaming.com/event/NHL18. And you'll find all the
Maybe one
information
more
there.
time because friggin' Hacks McGillicuddy over here. Let's go.
You can find all the information there on how to register for the Snyder Hockey Cup, sponsored by Xbox.
Cool. That's great.
Pricing
Where
details.
were we?
Oh, good to know. So I have to have an Xbox.
Registration opens.
No, I think it's 2 finalists for each console.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it is
See,
sponsored
that's
by
a
Xbox.
very important detail.
That is an important detail.
I threw it out there, didn't
It's
I?
good to know. Thank you.
The details on registration opens January 3rd. Online qualifiers will take place between January 10th and February 10th. Online playoffs, February 17th and the 18th. And then the live finals in Philadelphia, where famous YouTuber Steve Dangle will be present.
Do they
is
actually
on
call him
actually-
famous YouTuber?
I literally made that up.
Oh.
March 7th, 2018.
I was going to say famous YouTuber. That's oxymoron.
Wow. Come on. Wow.
Come on, that was funny.
Roasted.
I am going to
That was
collaborate with El Darby, and we are going to have a powerhouse YouTube channel. And then I'm never going to talk to either of you ever again.
That was fun.
Google NHL 18 Snyder Hockey Cup.
Hey, what were we talking
More
about when you
details.
brought
We're
that
on
up?
God's green earth, were we?
We were talking about Philly. You said-
Ottawa.
Ottawa, right. Going to Philly. You said we were talking about Ottawa. We were talking to ticket sales. We were talking about last year in the playoffs and what we were saying about the, how the, so the playoffs last year, we were talking about the fact that, they made it was like, okay, and I would say something along the lines of, if it's me and I'm in Ottawa and the Leafs come to town, I'm going to be at that game. I'm not selling my ticket to dumb Leaf fan. I'm going to be there.
So the core of the article where Dale puts the onus on the fans to support the team, you guys are in agreement with that.
Well, I
think
it's
that's unfair to the
blaming.
hardcore fans.
Yeah, it's blaming the fans. To which I would say, okay, the Senators are in one of the most unique positions in the entire NHL because they've been around for a while, but they've never quite been able to get traction. Well, what's wrong? They're still a Canadian team. Ottawa's not small. The surrounding area is not really small. You got a relatively big surrounding area in Quebec. You got a fan base that's willing to drive for hours and hours in Ontario. What I think the big issue is you have Godzilla and Mothra on either side of you. How do you conquer having the Leafs on one side of you and the Habs on the other?
When was the last time either of those teams made it to the Stanley Cup final?
That doesn't matter. Like it's ingrained in the culture, right?
But, this is a 25-year-old franchise. Shouldn't it be somewhat ingrained now?
How do you okay, it's Canada. It's hockey. It's in every household. There are very few people you'll talk to who are indifferent about it. Everyone's got a team. How do you pry a Habs fan? Like, this is what the Sens need to do. They need to pry Habs fans out of Montreal, out of Ottawa. They grew up Habs fans in Ottawa. You got to make them Sens fans. You got to take Leafs fans. Generations of Leafs fans. My dad was a Leafs fan. My grandpa was a Leafs fan. My great-grandfather was the assistant coach of the Leafs. And they had mouth guards made of horse teeth back then. Or something stupid like that.
They called them smilers.
Yeah! 3 smilers for a nickel, you'd say. So anyway, you got to take generations of fandom and somehow convert that.
That's tough. You're right.
It's extremely tough.
Well,
How do you do that?
I always make fun of my family because they like to rub in my face that they're Sens fans. And I said, I used to go to them and say, I was in your rooms growing up, to all my cousins. You all had Toronto Maple Leaf wallpaper. Mm-hmm. Don't pretend like you're not all ex-Leaf fans. Sorry, but you are.
A lot of people came crawling back last year.
Well, and
a lot of people came crawling back.
I think, but the thing is, their kids, ardent Senators fans, wouldn't think of anything else.
Like, okay, we've brought up the Sens made it to the conference final. It needs to be sustained success.
But they've been very good they've been pretty good, man.
What's pretty good?
They're always in the playoffs. Better than we could say.
They're not always. Yeah, better than the Leafs, for sure. For sure. But you need to be even better than that. Like, when they made the final in 2007, like, they had the most electric line in hockey. They were one of the most exciting teams. They were one of the best teams. They made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Kind of fell apart. I remember that summer at the zoo, you couldn't escape Sens gear. Everyone at the Toronto Zoo, 4.5-hour drive from Ottawa, Sens gear. Everyone had a Heatley shirt. Not as many Alfredson shirts, I noticed. There were a lot of Leaf fans who were willing to be like, you know what? I support Danny Heatley. I like him. There were a lot of Jason Spezza fans.
That does not reflect well on
Canada. Us. No, but like they weren't willing to wear the Alfie.
It's because
stuff.
of the Alfie fake stick throw thing,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Lots of Sens hats, Sens shirts, Sens gear. Tons of it. Next year, everyone tucked it back in their closet. It was gone. You don't see much Sens gear around this neighborhood. And then they make it to the conference final. And I saw it a little bit this summer.
Okay, but sell out a game in the conference finals.
Yeah, like, I mean...
Now that's a fan in Toronto, but you can't sell out a game in Ottawa?
So that's the one, that is the one that makes me kind of go, well, what if maybe it was the pay system then? Because...
Is it that widespread, though?
Well, like...
I don't know, like, and I'm asking the question, I don't know.
Like, okay, you're I don't know. You got some disposable income, and you're a hardcore hockey fan, and you're a Habs fan, and you live in Gatineau. Senators are playing the Penguins in the conference final.
In Canada.
In Canada.
And there's nothing to do after the game.
But it's like a, half-hour drive, something like that?
No bar to go to.
I'm not far off. There's some stuff.
There's nothing
Take an
out
Uber.
there.
I don't
Like,
know.
there's nothing.
There's some stuff somewhat far away, I guess. I don't know. Look, but what was confusing to me is no one's coming from out of town to take a peek at Sidney Crosby in the third round of the playoffs. Sidney Crosby versus Erik Karlsson.
God, we should have gone.
That was the confusing... Right?
I don't know why we didn't.
The hell are we flying to Nashville for?
Yeah, really.
Could have drove up the street. That's a day trip. Could have come back.
You know what would have been interesting is if the Senators were as good this year and to see what happened in the playoffs this year.
Mm.
You know, I really would have.
It would have been different.
Yeah.
I bet
do you think
everything.
it would have been?
Yeah.
Because that's interesting. I don't know. Anyway, listen. I don't know all the ins and outs of this stuff, but what I do know is that that article is a little harsh, but there is some truth to it too. And I mean, okay,
That's
Ottawa,
a fair assessment, I think.
Ottawa Lynx baseball. What were they? The Expos farm team or something? Like, okay, fine. You're not a baseball town. It gets colder there.
How many people listening right now could name the indoor football team Toronto used to have?
Exactly.
Like,
the Rough Riders and the Renegades were, the original Rough Riders had ownership problems. The Renegades had ownership problems. Not really the fans' fault.
It's CFL football.
You're going to have ownership problems.
Not everyone cares.
Exactly.
Some people do. Some people don't. Some markets succeed. Some
and who
don't.
else have they lost?
reality.
I can't even think of whoever else they've lost. But you know what? He is right on one point. I will not dispute the fact that if the Sens leave, they are never coming back. So you better.
I don't know about that.
Jets got their team back. Could happen.
They did, but the Jets had a passionate base.
Well, and Winnipeg's smaller than Ottawa. Ottawa's big.
I hope this LeBreton Flats thing happens because from what I've understood too from friends that live there, Ottawa has closed a lot of their clubs, a lot of their bars, a lot of the hot spots, which were already spread out around the city. And
the market's cool.
Yeah, but they need like it's a university town, right? As
I was just about to bring that up. They need to embrace the students.
Embrace the students, and they need to give people a place to hang out and party. I mean, that's what the Maple Leafs did. Real Sports is right there.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you've got to look at what they've done in Detroit.
The Sens aren't exactly in a position to buy the building next door.
No, I get that. But the point I'm trying to make is it's an entertainment complex, and I hope that they make that. And I hope that they create something around that. Even around the Bell Center, I was sort of surprised that a lot of those buildings around the entrance we left, it was like derelict. There was like these like crummy old houses. I'm like, that's prime real estate, man. I would knock those down and open a restaurant. What are you doing?
Oh, Adam.
I don't know. That's just me, but like that's what I would do. And if in Ottawa, if it's lacking in entertainment spots, make the entertainment spot. Make it. You got an opportunity. You got a lot of people here that make a lot of money.
Yeah, they're trying to get the arena
exactly.
there.
But then follow through on that. You got government workers. You got people that make above average wage
when they're paid.
I'm
trying to voice what people are screaming at the radio right now.
Now, I want you to put your headphones on, gentlemen, because I want to ask you a question. The Oilers, the Edmonton Oilers, they've been rumored for just about everything.
Sorry.
Question for you both. Do you think the Edmonton Oilers should just take the L on this season and move on? Or should they, which people keep talking about Edmonton driving for the playoffs.
No.
They keep talking that this is somehow going to happen. No. I don't think it's going to happen with this team.
I was willing to humor it until I checked the standings yesterday, and I'm like, okay, look how many teams are in front of you. You're 12 points out. Stop. You're done.
Take the L, get the lottery pick, sign a couple wicked wingers in the offseason, and you're laughing. Like, this isn't hard.
Get a full season of improved Pulya RV.
Or
maybe Kyler Yamamoto is your guy.
Or
here we go.
You can do this, which to me is the best suggestion I think I've ever heard, and it comes from Fox Sports.
Restricted free agent. What is your philosophy on this one? Well, I'm an idea man, Patrick, and Jack Johnson finds himself in an unfortunate position. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year because of his financial situation. He needs as big a contract as he can get.
All true.
Columbus is now playing in third pair minutes, so he's probably not going to be as high profile on the free agent market as he'd like. So my solution is trade him to the Edmonton Oilers, who are now without Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for 5 to 6 weeks. They're floundering. Their season is at risk of missing the playoffs and not finishing, bottom of the league to get that top draft pick. Move Jack Johnson to forward. See if there's any chemistry with him and Connor McDavid. If there is, all of a sudden his career has a whole new aspect, a whole new angle, and possibly a whole new contract. If it doesn't work out, Edmonton doesn't lose anything. Their season is somewhat lost anyway. And everybody gets fired for making this dumb decision of moving Jack Johnson forward.
Hey, at least his co-host called him out on that. So funny.
That's so funny.
But why would Edmonton, who needs defense, move a defenseman to forward?
That is what I disliked most about the idea, but I took some heat because the second I saw that clip, I tweeted, I don't hate this.
What?
If you don't move the guy to forward.
I don't hate it. No, what was amazing is how many people jumped down my throat for that. Because all I've been told for literally a decade is Jack Johnson can't defend. He's not a good defender. There's all these numbers that suggest he can't prevent entries. He's absolutely terrible. He's not good in his own end. Defensemen who aren't good in their own end, generally speaking, don't last long as defensemen. He's beaten the odds somehow, but he does seem to have some kind of skill set. Why not try Jack Johnson?
Because it's a professional team and a professional league, and you can't just be
it's never worked before.
That's never worked before.
Never worked.
Well, Brent Burns is one notable example, but here's what I would say.
I think that's a completely different scenario.
Yes. And beyond that, let's just throw this out there. If Jack Johnson goes to Edmonton and they flip him to forward, just throwing this out, let's humor this. And they find out he can't play forward. Now you've got a player who can't play forward and can't play defense.
Put him on D.
Well, you just said he can't.
Well, apparently that's what he is, and he's great at it. That's the impression I got from everybody. He's great at it. Why not? Just try it. I don't know. Look, it's ultimately, I would never do that if I were the Oilers. And if I were the Blue Jackets, they'd be like, really? I would definitely laugh. But part of me was like, it's a kooky idea. I don't hate it.
It just makes you look as a general manager like you're floundering.
It definitely does. But like, I appreciate the creativity. It's a little bit better than, you know what? Let's trade a prospect for Nick Dowd. Yeehaw! Like,
What do you think about
Paul? It's
Paul?
a little exciting.
What do you think about Paul Coffey being brought in? Does it strike you a little bit as though the Edmonton Oilers are resting a little too much of their 80s legacy on today?
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Well, and what's funny is he's the one guy I look at of the bunch and go, that makes sense. Paul Coffey was a guy who got yelled at for the longest time for not being the strongest in his own zone, but he was a Hockey Hall of Famer and a legendary player and incredible offensively. And I wonder how he would do in this era where there's no clutching and grabbing and all that. But there's already too many of the boys on the bus crew that are already there. So I think Oilers fans are going,
well, and did Elliot Friedman not suggest that there's some political stuff that Peter Chiarelli's facing, which is the old school Edmonton guys versus him and his new school guys? Like there's a little bit of
crying out loud.
And if that's handcuffing Peter Chiarelli, I feel bad for him.
Do they have the biggest front office in professional sports?
I think the Leafs might.
Who the hell is on the Oilers?
Because they got Gretzky. Isn't Messier somehow involved?
Gretzky's not.
He's not?
No, not in official
front office, you're right.
front office capacity.
Some kind of ambassador.
He's
Ambassador.
Just, hey,
I used to play for this team.
Is Messier okay? Can you go to the website and look up the Oilers
That's
front
what I'm
office?
doing right now.
Because to my knowledge, or should I just wait? I'll just wait. But there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There's way too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's good to have a variety of ideas. But like, I think that's why you employ amateur scouts, pro scouts, maybe a couple assistant GMs. And like a numbers guy, a numbers department. One thing I saw someone say is, wouldn't this money be better invested in having an actual analytics department? And what's amazing is with most teams, you'll see a suggestion be made by a fan or an analyst, and at least a significant chunk of the fan base goes, you know what, interesting idea. Why don't they try that? I've never seen a fan base like Oilers fans who is so aware of how shitty their team is and unwilling to do anything different. Anything. They don't want to hear from another fan base that they are bad or someone else is bad. They don't want to hear it. They only want to say it themselves. It's been a fascinating thing. Hey, why don't the Oilers go out and get an analytics department? And I saw so many people go, they tried that.
Did they try that? I don't think they tried that.
Hiring Tyler Dello for a year was trying that?
Do you think one day
hiring one guy?
Do you think he'll talk about that one day?
Yes.
I'd love to hear.
Every now and then you get little snippets at Puck Talks events, but it's not much. Like he told a funny story about accidentally locking himself in the bathroom. But like not a whole lot of the inner workings of it. But I get the impression there was not a whole lot of intake when it came to the information he provided.
Do you want to start with the front office?
Not a lot of open-mindedness. Yes, please.
The front office runs down like this. Daryl Cates, owner and governor.
That makes sense.
Bob Nicholson, chief executive officer and vice chair. Peter Chiarelli, president and GM of hockey operations. Wayne Gretzky, partner, vice chair, Oilers Entertainment Group.
So he's front office then?
But he's not on the hockey side. He's front office side. He's he's a partner in the organization.
This is interesting, though. So we know Daryl Cates had a hand in the Ryan Murray versus Nail Yakupov pick. Mm-hmm. So Wayne Gretzky's there. He's on your payroll. You don't think they're asking Gretzky the occasional hockey question?
Sure.
Based on Gretzky's history as a coach, would you?
Exactly.
Greatest player of all time.
Kevin Lowe, vice chair.
Listen, sorry.
Yeah.
Kevin Lowe is still involved.
I know. Oh, he's not even the best name.
Please, Craig McTavish. Where's Craig McTavish? Is he there?
Here he comes. And he's not even the best name.
Susan Darrington, executive vice president.
Don't know Susan?
Yeah.
Now we're getting into like business guys.
6.
Okay, these are the marketing, communications. Let's go over to the management side. Peter Chiarelli, president of hockey operations.
So we haven't even gotten to Chiarelli?
And general manager. Craig McTavish, senior vice president of hockey operations. Dwayne Sutter, vice president of player personnel. Keith Gretzky, assistant GM.
He's not even the only Gretzky.
And then we get like director of player personnel and that sort of thing. That's it.
Where's Craig McTavish?
Where's Scott Housen?
Scott Housen.
Isn't Scott Housen still with the Oilers?
I don't believe so. He's not on this.
Former beloved Blue Jackets GM?
Not on this list, no.
Google Scott Housen, see what he's up to. I could have swore he was still with the Oilers.
Is Craig McTavish still with them?
Yeah. He said him. He's like senior advisor or whatever.
Yes.
He got kicked up.
Man. So, yeah. Listen, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, if you're just the Oilers, just try analytics. Just try it. Try adding to it. Just add. Here's another opinion.
Well, I'm just glad that they added to their pool of former players with a
Scott Housen is retired.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Of all the decades in hockey, what has been the most, from what you've seen, the most ridiculous?
In what way?
Just obnoxiousness. Just like not in terms of just the type of play. Oh my God, what a ridiculous decade. Things that happened in that decade is ridiculous.
The 80s were pretty nuts.
So here's my question. If you were dominant in the most ridiculous Mickey Mouse decade,
whoa.
It was, and it was crazy.
Whoa.
I don't mean that to be a bad thing.
Whoa.
But you're talking about you were dominant in an era when that literally has nothing to do with today's era.
You just don't know hockey.
Does it make sense to bring in experts from that era?
Mario Lemieux, what's he know? Sorry, go ahead.
Does it make sense to bring in experts from that era? All I'm asking. That's all I don't know the answer. Probably yes, more than no. But I find it, from what I hear about the 80s, from the numbers, just the basic numbers, most games were like 8-5.
Well, most of the things I hear about the 80s, I'm like, those guys are your team's disciplinarians and leaders? That seems dumb and bad.
Well, and
okay, good luck with that.
Watch those games. Go and watch 80s clips on YouTube. They're hilarious. It's a completely different hockey
they're
game.
So funny. The fights?
Oh, they're nuts. And the play,
How
even
long
the play.
did hockey games in the 80s take? Must have been forever.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, they didn't have
First
as many
of all, there were
commercials.
14 goals a game. A line brawl each period. And every line brawl, at least two players got completely undressed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not completely
completely undressed in their pajamas.
That's a good point. And it was always light blue underneath. They had
Why
light
was
blue
it
shirts.
always light blue?
Everybody had a light blue shirt underneath.
Always.
Once you got jerseyed, your light blue shirt came
Everyone's picturing Stu Grimson right now. Every single person.
So that's my I understand that winning the Stanley Cup, there's a select few, and I get it. But wouldn't it make more sense to bring in guys from Chicago, Los Angeles, Pittsburgh,
Steal from
Boston?
Well, what
Detroit.
Every other team has done is they've taken from other teams' hockey ops. The Lightning have done a wonderful job of that.
They've done it. Look at that. But look at the recent win, and maybe there's recency bias, but wouldn't you want to take from someone that's got a modern approach, not someone who played for the team and was great?
Well, let's take a different angle on that. Okay? Let's, all their expertise is great. It's valid.
And it's not that it's not valid. I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to diminish Paul Coffey.
Paul Coffey might be the best of the bunch.
He might be, but how many Paul Coffeys do you need is my question.
Yes. What is the variety there?
It's all the same.
What's the diversity of ideas and opinions?
That's why I say, why not try analytics a little bit too?
Or anything.
Not all analytics. Because the thing about the all analytics thing, and again, this is an unfair thing because I don't think John Chayka is an example of what an all analytics team
guys
is.
Are very, and when it comes to Chayka, analytics guys, he doesn't even go here.
Yeah. I think he gets stuck with the analytics label when maybe it is not.
Also, he's in his 20s and people just hate young people.
Well, he must like numbers if he's in his 20s. But
I have a question.
Sure.
How much is this the fault of the guy who owns the team and writes the checks. And therefore, none of this will ever change because he's not just going to sell the team. So maybe they're fucked forever.
Don't forget, Oilers, you're here forever.
What's worse? What is more disruptive to a hockey team or any sports franchise than clueless ownership?
I don't know. Ask any Raiders fan. Oakland Raiders, terrible. Al Davis.
Chicago, bad.
Owner
bad.
died.
Owner leaves, good. Leafs, bad.
Owner
Ballard
dies.
leaves, good.
He died. Just say it.
Daryl Cates is not that old.
No.
Just remember.
You're here forever.
That's right. All right. Montreal.
Oh, I got this new kingdom I just built in Edmonton.
And
I got
didn't
the
even-
entire 80s Oilers around me. I'm not even on first name basis with them. I'm on first half of their last name basis with them. Here's Gretz and Coff and Mess.
And I don't have to pay. I didn't have to pay for the whole arena either. It's
No.
great. I got
Every
this
now
kingdom
and-
I didn't pay
every
for.
5 years or so, I scare the shit out of them by going to Seattle and sitting front row. I got it, man. What are you going to do? Shut up. Here's a scarf. Go Oilers.
Yep.
These friggin' idiots will... Hey, I don't even give him a scarf. He talks like this now. That's,
Yeah,
Daryl
he's
Cates.
from Brooklyn.
I don't even give him a scarf. Fuck! I don't even let him in the arena. They're standing outside practically, and they paid to get in. How do you do that? How am I not the best businessman ever? They paid to get in, didn't even get in. It's incredible. I let them halfway
that
in.
is brilliant.
I didn't even give him enough pisses. Oh my God, I love this city. I love this city. And Seattle every 5 years. I love it. Sorry, Oilers fans. Raw deal. Sucks. Well, hopefully you get Darlene.
Montreal.
Actually, hopefully you don't. He looks like he'll be a good hockey player. I'd like to see him on, like, a good team.
Montreal is not going to sell. Or Montreal is going to sell, but they're not going to sell. They're not going to sell Carey Price. They're not going to sell Mete. They're not going to sell Shea Weber.
Well, no. Yeah, part of it should be acknowledged that part of Montreal's struggles this year have been injuries.
Sure,
They
but they're
were
also
not a well-built team, but
They also don't have a center.
don't have a center, but like it got compounded significantly when Weber wasn't.
It would
in
be
the lineup.
shocking to me if whether or not Tavares signs there, the biggest money offer is going to come from Montreal.
Please no. Please
Same.
no.
They are willing to sell. What do they have to sell? And what do you get? Okay,
Not
you
a
got
ton.
you got underperforming Pacioretty?
Well, there's still this idea of, you know what? Montreal is, they don't want to use the word rebuild. I think it was in 31 Thoughts. And the reason Friedman provided was Colorado. Like, what did they do?
Well, that's a little different.
Traded like one guy. Yeah, but look at them. They're back.
Okay.
They're back.
But
They're an example of a team that didn't have to completely burn it to
they
ash
also didn't
to
lose
get
a
better.
top pairing defenseman and a top winger
They lost.
Well,
to-
they lost their number one center.
for free. Nathan McKinnon was their number one, wasn't he? Or was it Duchesne?
Well, it was like they split
Depends.
it.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
fine.
way
They
you
like
look
split
at
it.
Yeah.
So imagine you don't have either Nathan McKinnon or Matt Duchesne. Now you're the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay, fair. But they need to, they're one of those teams, what the Leafs did for a long time is they just had these decisions where it's like you saw them coming from a mile away. It's like, just make them already. Just make them. Like for the longest time, it's like, just fire Carlisle,
You know you're going to do it.
trade Kessel, because you're going to do it, regardless of whether or not it's the greatest idea. Trade Phaneuf. Just do it. Just do it. If I'm a Habs fan, like, forget Bergevin getting fired would seem like an obvious choice, but apparently that's not going to happen. So the other two choices, all right, shit or get off the pot with Pacioretty. Trade him. Shit or get off the pot with Galchenyuk. Just do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Stop! You're
Galchenyuk.
dragging it out. What's he going to be here in 5 years? No. Is he going to be here in 3? No. Is he going to be here in 2? Maybe, but you're going to complain about it the whole time. Get rid of him. Enough. What if the trades don't work out? Lots of trades don't work out. If trades don't work out, then you get your full rebuild and you get a high pick like you wanted in the first place. If it does work out, fantastic. Like, just enough. The future is not with Max Pacioretty and Alex Galchenyuk. And it's been very apparent for a long time. Just make the trade. I'm sick of it.
Done. I like it.
Just break up already. It's a couple where I'm like, just break up. You hate each other. Just break up. It's clearly not working.
Have you had
I see it.
friends like
Everyone
that?
sees it. Why don't you do it?
Have you had friends like that where they hate each other and you're like, please?
I mean,
break
not
up?
for a very long time.
Yeah, it's like an early 20s thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's not really then it becomes like a thing. I don't know. I think they're having. See, it used to be, no, they should just break up.
now it's
the
like,
older you get, it's like, so and so's having issues.
and they have a dog together. Like that's what it becomes. Well, they bought a house together a couple years ago. They might lose money on that. That would be my thing. Well, they might
That
lose
would
money.
definitely be-
Can we knock it down and build a restaurant there?
Such
That's
a
all I'm
missed
saying.
opportunity for an exposed brick.
Shut up.
Oh no! Like
Listen,
seriously,
I like real estate. Okay.
I want to know. I'll throw this out to the audience. Like, what are other situations around the NHL where it's like, just do it already, just do it. With the Duchesne trade, it
Oilers.
paid off to stick around.
Oilers.
What about the Oilers?
Take the L on the season. Just admit.
Well, I'm talking. Okay, that's fair, but like specifically on a player.
Oh,
Habs,
it's just player. Oh, okay.
Galchenyuk, and like I feel like they haven't been happy with Pacioretty being captain since day one. Like he was their silver medal.
I
He
mean,
was the best guy
You
available.
could make the argument with Carlson, although I don't know which way they're going to do it. So you don't know they're going to do it.
No, that's not quite
Evander
there.
Kane's one of them.
Evander Kane for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but like that's a little different in that like we know it's going to happen.
That's-
And like the Sabres and Kane would acknowledge that it's going to happen. He's a good player on an expiring deal on a bad team.
But that's what Jesse's saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Pacioretty's not in that situation at all though. Or Galch.
Okay.
But like it's just clear where like the player
It's
and
just
the
not
team,
working.
Something
I don't know. There isn't a
there-
lot of that. A lot of those were moved. Like I would have said Ryan Johansson in Columbus before the Seth Jones trade, right? Fair?
worked out.
Worked out for both sides.
Both teams. Yep. Seth Jones is great.
You would have said the same thing with I don't know if you would have said the same thing with PK in Montreal, but if PK had stuck around a year longer, but have been like, it's time to trade him.
That was a little different where it was like you had a choice to make. And it's either Bergevin
And you chose wrong.
Bergevin or him, and yeah.
You chose wrong.
How would you say you did there?
I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, like Paul Martin in San Jose. We all know what's going to happen.
I don't think it's a thing that's going on around the league where you have a player you need to trade.
It's rare. Like it's
It
yeah,
is.
it's
And
not
it should
it's
be,
not a
by the way.
common thing.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing.
I think that's the result of a dysfunctional organization.
There are dysfunctional organizations.
Yeah.
You know what is
few as public as the Canadiens right now, though. I mean, come on.
Nah, I'm wrong. I was gonna say what is sort of turning into one is OEL and Arizona. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm right there. But you do understand what I'm saying.
How about I would say the entire Arizona franchise? We know you're going to move it. So just do it.
they're not gonna.
Move it to, no, we know are they going to stay where they currently are in this arena? No.
How about with the Sens?
And I'm not even saying
we
they're
know you
leaving
need
here.
to move the team.
Oh, no, I don't think that's a foregone.
Not out of market, sorry. Telebrett.
Yeah, they are going to do it. So just do it.
Just do it.
That's what I would say to the Coyotes. Just move them to Phoenix. Tell the Suns owner to stop being a douche. And let them play together. Because apparently he's the guy that's like,
Well,
I don't care. I don't
understand.
want them.
Like, Sens fans need to show their commitment. But no, there's a reason they're not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a shitty location. Put it in a good one. But you've sold out before. You've done well before. You've been successful before. Just do it.
Diagnose
do
the
the
issue.
thing that is obviously the right decision. What's your problem?
That's interesting. You know, if Nike stopped selling shoes, right? For some reason, people stop selling shoes. Do you think there would be articles written going, you guys need to stand up and buy some Nike shoes to save Nike? You know, I've seen that sounds. You know how silly that sounds? People are like, what? No, how about Nike makes a product that is accessible to us that we want?
You just described like CDs.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
exactly.
although the difference there was theft. But
Ottawa literally couldn't have put a better product on the ice when they went to games.
That's true.
So.
Well, I mean, I guess location is part of the product.
and the pay and yada
Yeah.
yada yada.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
We don't have to
solution-
go over that again.
I know.
Yeah.
The solution is there.
Yes.
Do it.
Odd question before we get to the press conference. Is it time for the Canucks to move on from the Sedins. They
Well,
apparently want to play one more season, but Vancouver's trade plans are being held up by the Sedins right now because they haven't committed to playing next year. And, Jim Benning says, well, they might get 50 points each this year, and that's great, and they could be, great leaders in the room next year. But at a certain point, you do have to go, okay, if we're playing this year to year and we're rebuilding, we kind of need to know now.
They're in an awkward spot, and it's amazing the parallels between the Canucks and the Leafs of a few years ago with Matt Sundin. It's like, okay, we get that you deserve the sun and the moon, and we get that you feel like you have one more year left, but we're kind of doing a thing here, man. And there's two of them.
Yeah, and listen, what if they took
not one guy, it's two-thirds of a line.
If they go and say, okay, we'll take $3 million each, and we'll play on your third line, then fine. Right?
Sure.
Why not? But I don't think they're going to do that.
It's a tough spot.
It is a tough spot. They're legends.
Really tough spot for them, and it's a strange situation where it's like, okay, I get that you love it, but a little bit, it doesn't trump the love part. But what is the holdup here? And also, what is the illusion? What, are you going to win the cup?
Well,
is this a bit self-serving? Is it just a victory lap for the Sedins?
Maybe they just love playing, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? I'm sure that's the biggest part of it.
So
I don't think they're hurting financially.
My follow-up on that would be, is it proper payback for Sundin playing over there if the Leafs sign Henrik and Daniel in the offseason? And by the way,
it's not going to happen.
We need a third-line center.
Wow. No, it's not going to happen. I really, really would love that so
Why would
much.
it happen?
Why not?
Because they want to end their career as Canucks.
Oh.
But we can pay them the sun and the moon for one season.
But no, why would you do that?
Because you have a third-line center and a nice winger, too.
No. Come on. Come on.
I would rather have Joe Thornton.
Me too. I'm just throwing that out there to bug Canucks fans. I hope that, Jesse, as part of the Photoshop job that you do for this, that you have Henrik and Daniel in Leafs jerseys.
Thank you.
As part of the cover photo.
No. I would never...
No.
I would never want... I don't want the Leafs to do that. However, I do want it to be a rumor heading into next summer.
Let it be a rumor.
Because I just like...
We'll put it in Jason Botchford's column for summer.
with a bat in your hand. Well.
You know who
So
might
we're
know
here.
something about that? Someone who's on the inside.
You know what? I'll check with my sources, Jesse. I'll check with... I know a guy who knows a guy who has a friend who claims to have met Smart Insider Man. I want to know if he has the inside track
Where
on the
is-
Sedin scene.
Do you think we could start a rumor?
Maybe. Like, what? For example, what might that be?
Sedin's to Toronto, I think, has got to be the rumor. Is that possible anymore? Because it used to be possible. I think with the internet, though, people are too smart. Like, there are too many...
There is substantial evidence to the contrary.
So if we threw it up on Reddit, I have a friend that lives next to Daniel Sedin, and
Now,
he says he wants to
Adam,
come to Toronto.
Why would you want to do that?
Because it's social experiment mostly.
That's not funny.
That is
That's
Because
mean.
Canucks fans react to things super well.
That is cruel.
Hey, you know where the
An
Sedins
unusual
really make
punishment.
sense? Truly, where they make sense. Edmonton.
The KHL.
Edmonton.
The
Yeah,
Olympics.
for 1 year in Edmonton, it'd be genius.
The Olympics.
Are you not listening to this? This is genius.
The Edmonton?
Steve's making
Edmonton
jokes
Oilers?
of
The
himself
Edmonton-
and laughing.
I'm making KHL jokes over here. Have I told you I'm going to Philadelphia to play a tournament by myself?
For nothing. For no reason.
I hope I get booed there.
The Sedins to the Oilers, you say?
I say it makes sense.
It does.
I say you're absolutely right. Let it ride.
That
Free agents, eh?
free agents.
Here we go. Let it ride. No, the Sedins aren't gonna.
No, they're not. Of course not. But I'm just throwing it out there. It might be fun.
But what if? But
I mean, they
I'm
could.
still just well. Isn't life funny?
All right,
Hey, remember tampering? It's a little different now, isn't it?
let's do the press conference, shall we?
No questions.
Oh,
What?
The press conference thread didn't go up because our last episode was so soon that I used the last press conference thread for our last episode.
oh.
That made sense.
Yeah. But I do have this tweet from Alan Walsh, who represents such esteemed athletes like Vladimir Tarasenko and Mark Scheifele and the
Scheifele.
aforementioned Ryan McDonough. Alan Walsh said, the definition of insanity? The AHL has an exclusive deal with one equipment company for sticks. A few veterans per team are exempt. NHL teams sign players, invest millions in AHL development, and players are prohibited from using sticks they've played with their entire life. So that was interesting.
So then I saw someone tweet something
Whoa.
that suggested that wasn't necessarily true.
Yes, and I didn't look into it.
So basically, like, I don't know, whatever the company is, let's say it's CCM, and you're an Easton guy, you got to tape a CCM logo over your Easton.
Yeah, because you should be able to use your stick. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
I wouldn't mind taping something over my stick if I had to do it for sponsorship reasons, but
The AHL. Also, why is that the definition of insanity?
I don't know.
Why couldn't it just be the AHL is broke? The AHL is, no, it's not broke, but it's a minor league. And minor leagues do kind of rinky-dink Mickey Mouse things to get by. If the NHL did that, I'd be a little pissed. The AHL, I'm like, yeah, I guess I suppose I get it. There's a lot of things the AHL does that are not the greatest, but you have to.
So we're on the side of, hey, Alan Walsh, shut up for a second.
No, I've always been on that side.
oh, really?
Yeah, well, just I started hating him when he was like the only person in my Twitter timeline during the lockout. Yes.
See, we haven't been in hockey long enough to remember that.
No, I remember that.
Well, no, I mean, like, I watched it, but, like, we didn't have a show.
Oh.
You made a career off of this during the lockout.
Right after the lockout is when things started to take off. Yeah. Man, I listened again to the first show.
Why?
Again? You
No,
listened
no.
to it multiple times?
No, I'm saying again that I'm bringing this up. Look at when Jesse put it in the best of. We were talking about should Nathan McKinnon go first overall.
Wow. And yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah. And now he's up for the Hart.
Chara's going to replace McAvoy, I assume?
He should. That's crazy.
They were saying it
McAvoy.
might be Sergachev. As
Strawman?
well.
I heard Strawman,
Yeah,
too.
Strawman was also in 30 Thoughts.
Make it the rookie. Make it the rookie. Come on. I mean,
So
you might
not
as well
Chara?
make it. You might as well. There are two correct choices here, and people are going to get mad regardless. There are two correct choices. One is a Lightning defenseman, and the other is Zdeno Chara. There is no other correct choice. Riley's out, McAvoy's out, Hedman's out. Okay, you have two choices here.
All right.
That's it.
Well, that's it for us until next Tuesday. I know it's a long, long wait for you, but unfortunately, one of us had the audacity to get married like a jerk. And we have to take some time off and get that happening.
Well, and there's going to be no content for a week too. We're not doing anything. We're not giving you nothing. I'm taking the week off.
That's right. You don't even have any Leaf games to do beyond tomorrow night.
Oh, I was joking.
Oh,
No, there's no. The Leafs got 2 straight games.
oh yeah.
So I'm going to be doing those. I might do a video on something else. Jesse's got a bunch of clips up on the YouTube channel ready to go.
Why did you phrase it sarcastically?
I don't know.
I feel like that was so unnecessary.
I don't know.
Sorry
I
for
believed
ruining
you.
your whole night like that.
I believed you, man.
First of all, you tell
dummy.
me that you need a bunch of Twitter trolls to tell you that Gauthier is actually bad. And then
Twitter
now,
trolls, they were civil.
And then now you do this? You tease content through sarcasm? Steve?
I just got a text. Sedin to the Oilers for Maroon?
By the way, apparently Pat Maroon's up for on the trade block.
This has legs, boys.
No, but he actually is.
This has legs. What are we sitting around here for?
We need to be
It's
out.
time to go find The truth.
You need to go pee? Is that why you're running out?
The truth, Jesse.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.